oh, I don't like my skin. Oh, I don't like my shapeliness. I don't like how I look within my hips. I don't like how I look in my breast area. That negative talk comes back.
Yes, our community is women over 40 experiencing perimenopause and menopause. But at the same time, we want to feel good about ourselves during these challenging times. And one of the things that I faced, even when I'm feeling tired, or maybe I don't have that energy of glow on our face.
Exactly.
But we have to be on photo, or some of the parties, they take photo everywhere. And I'm not feeling good. So that is a kind of challenge that a lot of women going through and maybe facing right now. And tear, even though you are much earlier stage of perimenopause or even menopause, you are helping a lot of women over 40. You are coming from the perspective of having their inner glow alive. And that's exactly this Menopause Wonder show is wanting to take much of that, to share that insight or wisdom with the audience.
I know oftentimes when we're looking at the whole spectrum of womanhood, younger tends to be viewed favorably, thinner tends to be viewed favorably. And then when we get to the point where we've gotten married and had kids, the desirability of womanhood for that particular woman is no longer there. And so sometimes we feel that, okay, you've done your part, go off to the side, please go over there. Your femininity is no more. And that's not true.
Yeah.
And when we internalize these things, I always wonder when there's talk of desirability of women who are under 25 or who are under 30 or who are under 40. I always wonder, well, what about the curvy woman their child has graduated, they've moved on. What about that woman? That woman is still desirable. She's still beautiful. She's still of value. But the way that woman may have been treated might not reflect that way. And that woman internalizes those narratives, and it's very detrimenting. And oftentimes, sometimes women seek solace in just going all into the mother role or all into the work role, and they've become successful. But when they actually stop and look at themselves as a woman, and that sometimes happens during our consultation, there is a pause. There is that, oh, I don't like my skin, or oh, I don't like my shapeliness. I don't like how I look within my hips. I don't like how I look in my breast area. Yeah. That negative talk comes back. And sometimes I've even done this myself where I've just worked.
I've done myself too.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that resonate with me, especially myself and also my clients. Whatever the symptom that we are really facing, taking your own photo, it really amazes myself too, how vulnerable we feel about accepting who I really am. So even for myself, I'm 60 and I like a video, or I ask somebody like you to take my photo. Wow, I've grown up. I have to really admit, okay, there's a wrinkle and the skin was not as glowing as I used to be. And I have to be honest about myself. When I realize that, and when I look at the magazine, like Vogue magazine or whatever, the famous actresses or maybe the influencers type of people who are showing themselves up on the Instagram, it's like subconsciously haunting on you to, okay, am I as good as her or whatever? Because I'm an energy coach, I look at some with the energy, but it's so honest how your emotion stays. It really affects everything on camera, right?
Oh yeah. It's one of the most requested things that my clients ask for is authenticity. They want to see their true self. So if I'm hearing the backtrack, but I'm also hearing, I want to see me, there is a piece of you that does acknowledge that familiarity of who you are. I'm trying to find a way of how to flatter you or teach you how to photograph in a way that flatters you. You have to flatter yourself.
Exactly.
It's important. And so oftentimes when we see people who have been photographed and they don't like the picture, even though the picture is technically sound, the biggest complaint
that
is
happened
that
to me.
they don't see them. It's, oh, that doesn't look like me. I'm looking at me now in this video and I see all the things that I recognize in me. I see my hair, I see my smile, I see things that are familiar to me. But if I were to be photographed and let's say somebody enhanced my jaw, enhanced my hair, whatever they did, it would be a technically sound photo, but I would not like that photo because I don't see the characteristics of me. I like to laugh a lot. I like to smile a lot. So a photo where I'm like this, I'm not going to like that photo. And so oftentimes there is that balance of, okay, I'm not all these things society tells me to be, but I know me. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find ways and poses that flatter the person and is still them. So that's the point of the consultation. I want to ask, what kind of person are you? Are you a fun-loving person? Are you a serious person? Are you someone who's very determined and dedicated? I'll ask a series of questions just so I can figure out, okay, we're going to do more smiling, but we're not going to smile too big. Or we're going to do something that exudes confidence, but not arrogance.
For women over 40 experiencing like a headache or hot flashes, night sweat or whatever, and feeling horrible, right? But somehow you have to be photographed today. Is there anything that we can do aside from those like looking good? Is there any advice you can give for those, okay, when you feel horrible? Is it better to postpone your photograph session or whatever,
Now, as a photographer, I always feel a little bit saddened when we have to postpone the photo session. My rule of thumb is that if your mind is not in it, talk to your photographer for whatever reason. If you're sick, if something has happened, if you're distracted, talk to your photographer and see what your photographer can do, or at least listen to your photographer's solutions.
Right.
And if those photographers' solutions are sound enough for you to go ahead and continue, then I'd say go ahead and continue.
Dive into that 3 practical tips from you.
Okay.
And that would be helpful. I think the trust between photographer and yourself is very important because it's like going to the doctor. I don't want to go to the doctor whom I don't trust. And there's a beautiful exchange of energy when you trust each other.
The first tip is when you're hoping to be photographed, whether it's for business, a headshot, for pleasure, for your personal use, you should make a good connection with your photographer. The second point really is to think about what the end goal is. What is your end goal? What would be a success to you as the client or the person being photographed? And how do you get to that point? Top tip number 3, it's very simple, super simple. It's just have fun with it.
I love it.
Have fun.
Having fun is like enlightening your spirit, free up your energy. It's all that everything comes alive. And once you are wise enough to bring that music on and having that playful ground, safe space, then what you brought is a really free spirit flowing, and the photographer you respect so much captured the right moment. And that even excites me of what photograph can do for you to even elevate. When you just take a look at the past photo, it might bring you more joy. Oh, I had that fun moment.
I also thought about, because I know some people are not particularly fun loving, I might replace the word have fun with enjoy the moment or be present in the moment. I think those might be words that you can come around if fun is not in your vocabulary.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm going back in my head of clients who are very particular and clients who have a specific idea. And I'm always thinking about how focused they are. And they're very focused. And I'm thinking like that moment you just let it go, you start, that authentic self comes out. Another thing is when you're very camera aware, you lose that sense of self. I'm talking to you, I'm having a conversation. I'm not sitting here posing myself and smiling on demand. I try very hard not to tell people to smile. I try to tell people to do other things that they focus on that gets me an authentic smile. Because when we force a smile, we just look like we enjoy being constipated. So I'm trying to come up with ways that bring out that authentic sense of self, or that self that you're familiar with.
You are suggesting to have a connection with a photographer and have this clear end image, what you want to take out of the photo. And then lastly, just have fun. Could you take me a little bit, bring to the story you talked about your mom? Because I think it's highly resonated with us all. And
of course,
just taking your tips, you can have more fun with yourself. Right?
A bit about my mom. So she was an amazing person. She was a nurturer, and she always put other people first, or other people ahead of her. She passed away 3 years ago. And
so
as we were looking through her things and trying to collect her things and finalize her estate, we realized we didn't particularly have any photos. I've got one photo up here that's a snapshot of me with her at 1. I just got her old high school portrait. And those are really the only 2 points of time I have of her in my possession. I think that sometimes with mothers, because they're such nurturers, they put their children first, and they, even with me as a photographer, I'm encouraging mom to join in on the session. And I often hear, oh, it's just the kids. Oh, focus on the kids. And it is,
that's all.
I understand the sentiment, but it's also a disservice to the children, because they don't have a milestone or visual milestone of their mother at that time, or a time, or any time. And so I always encourage mothers, just as you're photographing your children at those points of time, create a space and time and opportunity for yourself to have a photo shoot, even just for fun, even just for personal development, even just for personal discovery, but also for a legacy. What images of yourself will your children have in the years to come? I do think it's important to have a legacy image or legacy photo of yourself, not just for your benefit, but also your children's and next generation.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful story of your mom. So just taking that as our lesson to be courageous enough to just to show up, of course, for yourself, but it might light up your children too, or maybe grandchildren. And then they're going to feel like, okay, my mom was here. We had such a fun time. And that's so beautiful about it. That's lovely. So thank you so much for joining this interview and also sharing your beautiful insights about what photography can do for us. And here's the exciting part. I have a special gift for you that can truly make a difference in your life. It's my free guide called Unlocking the 5 Hidden Gems for Perimenopause Symptoms Relief. This guide empowers you to find natural relief and unleash your inner radiance without relying on supplements or hormones. Inside, you'll discover the secrets to naturally finding relief from your symptoms. I'll guide you through challenges that are often misunderstood, helping you find effective solutions that work for many women just like you. Imagine saying goodbye to restless nights and those annoying hot flashes, and embracing life with renewed energy and vibrancy. What would that look like for you? This guide is your first step toward menopause revolution. Click the link in the description below to instantly access your free guide and join me on this amazing journey to your vibrant self in your prime years. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye!